again, I'm Larry Weeks, I'm the police chief here. Just have a few things to share with you today. To begin with, as you all know, early on in this investigation, I made a statement indicating there wouldn't be a positive outcome. Since that time, John Skelton, through his parents, made statements that the boys were with an organization, and he also made statements in court indicating as such. Couple that with the unconfirmed reports of sightings with the boys, we've seen false hope continue to grow. And based on information we've collected throughout the entirety of this case, meeting with the investigative task force on the 19th of this month, and after making an assessment of where we're at, it was determined that from this point forward, this is no longer a missing persons case, but a murder investigation. My point of making this a public statement, there's multiple reasons for it. As I saw the false hope grow, my concern is the spring coming, that people would not be focused on the possibility that those boys are out there. And as farmers go back to their fields, as campers go back to their campgrounds, I need the people in this region thinking that there's a possibility that they're out there and they might be the one to find them. So it's important to keep that in mind as spring comes upon us. The other thing was, as I addressed, what I saw was the false hope being propelled. It caused me great pain, and I thought it had to be addressed within the community, and that's my responsibility. So I thought it was important to share with you that information so our community can adjust to it and proceed however they feel is appropriate. The other issue, obviously, would be informing Tanya, the mother of the boys, of that critical piece of information and that change in focus so she can proceed as she chooses to do so. And I think Mrs. Herrera made some comments on that. The natural question I'm sure you're all going to ask, if it's a murder investigation, when there's going to be prosecution. There's no timetable for that. We continue to collect information and move forward with our investigation based on information as it develops. I remain in constant contact with the Illinois County Prosecutor's Office. They are very supportive and interested in seeing this case move forward as well. So we'll continue to evaluate that, and I'm sure when the time is appropriate, charges will be filed, or requested, I should say. I should clarify that. Charges will be requested. One of the things, another question I'm sure that will come up will be that, what's your evidence? What makes you know that this is the case? Well, as you can imagine, with this being a murder investigation, it's very difficult for me to disclose details that allows you to walk away from this knowing definitively that that's the case. The one thing I can share with you is that during our conversations with John Skelton, he did disclose the name of an organization. I'll read this off a sheet so I get it correctly. He called it the United Foster Outreach and Underground Sanctuaries. Is the organization he claims that he turned the boys over to. I have an enormous amount of resources available at my disposal, and throughout the conversations with those resources and the people that I have access to, and the investigation that we have done, no such organization can be located or determined to be a factual place for children. It's just one example of misinformation that I believe that we received from him that indicates the outcome, or indicates the direction that this investigation is continuing to go. I'll take a few questions before I introduce others that want to speak.
Chief, we know how difficult this is for you. We know how difficult this is for you, even personally. And you're right, that question, surrounding that question, though, there must be something that compels you to say, now we're moving away from one outcome to another.
Well, I don't know that it was necessarily moving away from an outcome. It was an outcome that, I made that statement early on based on information that we had, and it was well thought out and after careful consideration before I made that statement. And I'm doing the same again today. But today I can make it more definitively based on the entirety of the information that we've collected. Now, to say that there's one specific piece of information that put us in that position, I can't say that. It's the entirety of the investigation that puts us there.
When did he say that this organization existed?
There's going to be aspects of the investigation, like I said, I'm not going to be able to provide information on. That would be one of them as well, as when that comment was made. I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
Chief, are you going to be doing a search and recovery, influencing people to do a search and recovery for the boys in the spring?
Well, that's a good question in the aspect that, as I've said before, witnesses last see the boys alive Thursday afternoon, Thanksgiving Day at approximately 3:30. And we know John was transported to the hospital at approximately 1:30 on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. That's a significant window of time. A person could travel great distances. So if specific and credible information arises where we want to do a search of an area, we will definitely do that. But it's a significant area, and that's why it's important for people as spring comes to be keeping that in mind and be vigilant to what may be around them and what's out there.
Where will you be searching, Chief?
As I think I just indicated, that any searches that would come up would be based on any new information that would be developed, and we'd respond to it accordingly.
Is John Skelton your prime suspect?
Yes, yeah. John Skelton is the primary suspect in this, and like I said, we're going to be moving forward with this investigation as such.
Can you talk about research on the house? I mean, was there anything found in the house that reached your this as well?
That's information, I'm sorry, that I can't provide.
There were a lot of reports, Chief, early on about the sighting that was near Toledo, that the kids were spotted at donut shops. Obviously, that's all been investigated, but did any tips seem credible early on, or as of today, that they may have been spotted right after they were missing?
For people that know me, or maybe learned that, my heart is in this investigation as well as the logic of my head. So as those tips came in, it was difficult for my heart not to want to believe that they were true. The logic of me, based on a thorough investigation, clearly indicated it's not. So none of those ever proved to be anything near credible from an investigative standpoint.
Has John Skelton been informed of the change in stature?
He's aware of our belief that this is the outcome of the case. So yes. There's no other questions right now. Kathy Herrera is here to make some comments on behalf of Tanya and her family.